Hi students, this is Ron Denault, your instructor for this course, and I'm creating this video tutorial for those of you that might not have ever used my SQL Workbench before to help you get through this week's assignments for Chapter 7. So I assume that you have downloaded and installed Workbench. This is what it looks like when you first start it up, and you should have a link here to go to my server. This will bring you to the connected server. And what we want to do here is, in fact, what I'm going to include in this tutorial is how to create a database, what Workbench refers to as a schema, how to add tables to that schema, and how to create queries. I'll cover those three topics because that's what you need to do for this assignment this week. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a schema. So this icon right here is how you create a schema. So you click on that icon, and it asks you to name it. So the name of this one is Construct Co. to follow along with the assignment. So this particular program does not use capital letters. It will defer to lowercase. So when I click on Apply, you're going to see a message saying Apply changes to object. The server configured with lowercase table name. So everything's going to be lowercase. So I'll say OK here. And as you can see, it named it Construct Co. all lowercase. So I'll apply that and accept that name and then click Finish. So now as you can see, I have the Construct Co. schema right here ready to go. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is we need to add tables to this schema. All right? So we want to make sure that we select the schema. So the schema shows down here, Construct Co. And now this icon up here is to create a new table to that particular schema. So we're going to click on that. Whoops, I got to double click it. Sorry. I'll click OK here and double click. You need the schema to turn bold in order for it to be selected. So I'll click on the table. All right, now my new table. So if you go to the student handout for Chapter 7, you'll see that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 tables to create. Okay, so we're going to do them one at a time. The first one is Job. Okay, so we're going to name it Job. So I will change the name up here to Job, and I'm always going to use lowercase because that's what it accepts. Okay, and then I'm going to click Apply. It's now I'm in my code where it says Create Table Construct Co. Job. That's exactly where I want to be. So I'm going to go back to my text document, and I'm going to create the job, but I'm going to start with this code here because this one just says Create Table Job, but it doesn't put it in the Construct Co. schema. So I want to make sure that I put in the Construct Co. schema. So I'm going to grab this code right here to the close semicolon, and I'm going to copy it. All right, I'm going to go back to my database, and I am going to place my code right here. Now, I've got to get rid of that last close parentheses semicolon because that's not necessary. Okay, so now you can see the Create Table Job, but it's in the Construct Co. database or schema, and it's got each one of the headings for each table. It's going to be job code heading, job description, job change hour, job last date, and the primary key is going to be job code. So this column here is going to be the primary key. Okay, so I think we're all set to apply this code. So I'm going to click Apply, and it was successfully created. So I'm going to click Finish, and if I open the Tables category here, you can see the job table. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. So I click on this little icon here, and here's my table with those 4 columns created and all the data imported here. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is to follow these instructions to create the other 3 tables. I'm going to do them real quick, but I'm going to pause this video until I'm done, and then I'll come back, okay? Stand by. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see here, all 4 of my tables have been created, and they're in alphabetical order. So if I'll take a look at the assignment table. Here's the assignment table with all of the information. Okay, the headings. This is the employee table. Okay, and then you have the job table, which I showed you earlier. That was the first one I created. And then the project table. So all the tables have been successfully created. Okay, now I can tab to each one of them here. And here's the original schema. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a query to complete the assignment. The assignment asks to create 8 queries using this database. So we have our 4 tables in place, and now we're going to start creating our queries. So what we do to create our first one is I'm going to go to File, New Query tab. Okay? So here's my query tab. I actually had one open here, but I'm going to close it. Okay? All right. So I'm going to go quickly to the assignment right now, and I am going to read the first one, and I'm only going to create the first one, then I'm going to have you guys work on 2 through 8 by yourself, okay? So the first one, and this is problems for Chapter 7 using the construct code. Problem 1 says, write the SQL code required to list the employee number, last name, first name, and middle initial of all employees whose last names start with Smith. So if your last name is Smith, it would be included. If your last name is Smithson, it will also be included, okay? In other words, the rows for both Smith and Smithfield should be included in the listing. Sort the results by employee number and assume case sensitivity, okay? So let's see how we can work this out here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go to my query page, and I'm going to start typing in code that will work here. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to type select. Whoops. Oh, okay, just. All right, an asterisk. Select all. Okay. Select all from employee. All right, and I'll hit enter here. So select everything that's in the employee table, where upper, okay, because it said we want it to be case sensitive, where upper, and I want to open parenthesis and close parenthesis. So I'll accept that. And I'll go back inside the parenthesis, and I'll say EMP underscore last name, because it wants to put it by last name. Make sure I spelt it right. L name. Okay, I'll get outside the parenthesis, and I'll say like, and I'm going to open a single quote and put Smith, and I'm going to put the percent sign here, what this means is it's going to include Smith and everything after Smith. Any words that start with Smith and anything that has the word Smith in it, okay? And then I'm going to close the single parenthesis, and I'm going to hit enter here. And I want to order it by, because it said to order it by employee number. So EMP underscore num, and then I have to put the semicolon. All right? So here's my query right here. So I'm going to run the query, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay? So here's where you run the query right here. Execute the selected portion of the script, okay, or everything. Okay, so I'll click on this, and there's my query. Let's see if it's justified. Okay, so I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to notice that it's by employee number, which is what I wanted. It includes all Smiths. One of them is named Smith, one Smithfield, and one Smithson. Okay, it includes their first name, their middle initial, their hire date, excuse me, the job code, and employee years, because it's set to include select all from employee, all from the table. Okay, so this is the first query. Now I'm going to save it. So I'm going to save this query. First, I'm going to close it. It's going to say, "Do you want to save it?" Yes, I'll save it, and I'm going to put it on my desktop in my SQL folder. Okay, and I'm going to create a new folder here. I've already done this one before, but I'm going to create a folder called construct. Oops, I have my cap locks on. Construct tutorial. Okay, and I'm going to put this query inside here, and I'm going to call the query prob1. Okay, and I'll click save. All right, now I'll go to that folder just to make sure I put it in there. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to go into my SQL folder, construct tutorial, and there's prob1.sql. So you'll create all 8 of your queries in here, and then you'll send them to me. All I need is the queries. I don't need the database. I will run your queries myself. Okay. Probably the best way to send it to me would be to turn this folder into a compressed folder. Okay, so I will compress. Let me see, compress, not compress an email. Let me try it here. Send to compress zip folder right here. That's probably the best way to do it. Okay, so now I have this, and this can be sent and applied to the assignment. You can submit it as a zip file. This is a file, not a folder. Okay, so that's probably the best way. And then I'll unzip it, and I will run your queries myself. And if they're right, you'll get full credit. Okay, so that's going to end this tutorial. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you have any questions or something you didn't understand, send me an email, and I'll clarify it for you. Okay, have a great day, everyone.